Hello world, how's it going tonight? Welcome to the stream. This is Coding a Roguelike in C, stream where we are developing a classic ASCII roguelike from scratch using the C programming language. And last stream we finished up our random fantasy name generator, and we integrated that name into our gameplay screens. So we can run through that real quick, see what the current state of the game is. Here's our launch screen. Got our new game, and so down here in the lower left corner, this is our stats box, and we added this first line, which is our hero's name, and this guy's named Zorith Warslinger. Orgslinger, I guess. So Zorith is going to fight his way through the dungeon. Let's play a little bit. Here's our equipment screen. We can equip our shield and sword that we picked up. And we've got some bats. Going to beat up on us a little bit. This is our health bar down here. See, we've got one heart removed. However, we can rest and get that back. Rest burns a turn. So we've got these gems that are scattered randomly throughout each level. Each level has 5 gems that are randomly placed, and that's kind of our way to keep score. And that's the score will determine placement for the high score or the Hall of Fame. Let's get the helmet. Here's our staircase. We'll just oh, there's the gem. Looks like we'll have to earn the gem. Killing some kobolds. Grab that gem. There's still 1 gem left over, you can see here. We're just gonna head downstairs. Well, 2. So on and so forth. The deeper we get into the dungeon, the more interesting creatures and harder beasties we're gonna find. So you get a sense of what the game looks like. Let me see if I can unequip. Oh, that's weird. It looks like interesting. It looks like our equipment gets a little messed up. Switch levels. We're gonna have to put that on in the bug list. Exit for now. I'll show you what we're going to be working on this evening. So we've got 2 options when we launch the game: start a new game, and then the second one is view Hall of Fame. So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. Right now we don't show any content because we're not persisting our heroes to our Hall of Fame. And so this evening we're going to be building out a way to persist high scores, and then we can show them as part of the Hall of Fame. There's also a Hall of Fame listing shown on the game over screen when you die. So if the player manages to earn a new high score, we'll show them on that death screen as well. So I'm thinking, to keep things simple, we are going to persist our Hall of Fame records in the same using the same file format that we use for our other configs. So let me bring up a config file that we've got. For example, items. So this is the config file we use to keep track of all the items that could appear in the game. And it's just a, hey, crocodoctopus. That's an awesome username. Welcome to the stream. So this file keeps track of stores all of the possible items that we can drop into our world. And so when the game starts up, we parse this config file, we load that stuff into memory, and then you can see we have some probability stats here. When we're generating a level, we determine, we kind of randomly generate and place various items, depending on their appearance probability. The file format is very simple. See, we've got a kind of entity name within square brackets, and then a list of property value pairs. So each is contained on its own line. We've got the property name on the left side, an equals sign, and then the value on the right side. So we're going to do, yes, not many people use C here on Twitch at all. Which is part of the reason that, I started streaming on Twitch to kind of fill a void that I saw. It's almost your favorite language? It's not your favorite language. What is your top favorite language? So we're going to build the Hall of Fame storage file with a similar file format. I agree. It does. C definitely has some annoyances, and they've changed, and if you're talking about Kernighan and Ritchie C, yeah, that is. I would not want to use that, just because of it's got many more annoyances. But in C99 they fixed some stuff. And they've been evolving the language a little bit. They've made some definite improvements, though. Lack of constant expression. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen. There's a book. Oh, right here. I recommend this book for anybody who wants to write modern C. It's called 21st Century C. It's written by Ben Clemens, and it's a pretty good, it's from O'Reilly Publishing, and it's a pretty good book. Second edition, I have the second edition, which was dropped in 2015. And so if you're interested in still writing C, it's got some good tips and tricks there for writing modern C. And it also cleans up some of the nastier bits. There's some helper stuff in there. Yeah, I try to avoid macros for the most part. Trying to keep things simple here. So let me just give an example of let's figure out what we want our file to look like. So we'll just add a new file here. We'll just call it how about if we actually just save it? And so what we're going to have is I guess, just a layer. I don't know what we want to call this, a record. So we'll have a name. This will be, Joe Schmo. But using it'll be the fantasy name that we have generated using our name generator. We'll do level, maybe the lowest level, the level of the dungeon that they died on, so that would be like 3. Could do, well, we know we're going to want the date, so this will be like 6/1/2017. What else? Oh, score, obviously. Score. Or gems. Gem count, so this would be something like 23. Although for level, if you died on level 3, you wouldn't have 23 gems, so let's make that like 14. Rewritten some of the STL in C? I don't think so. I have written some helper classes. I definitely have a list. I wrote a doubly linked list, but that's not STL. I have not written a vector. I haven't had a need for it yet. I will write them as needed. So we've got name, level gems, and maybe date. Might be enough. So that's the format that I think we're gonna want. Maybe like record. And so we would be listing these records in the order that they should be shown. So it would be that the highest score would be listed first. The linked lists kill the cache. Yeah, my game right now is not so much concerned with like eking out every last bit of performance, because that would be a bit overkill for my ASCII roguelike. I can show you. I don't know if you were here for I ran through the demo real quick of where we're at. So this is what the game looks like right now. One cool thing about this screen is I wrote, this is all ASCII characters right now, but it's actually generated from an image. So you've got this image here, and you can toggle between graphical and ASCII mode by hitting T. So I use this image just as reference. I found a cool picture of a cavern on Google Images or whatnot. And then I wrote an algorithm that would basically chunk this out into cells and examine the colors in those cells and then try and determine the best fit ASCII character or ASCII character and the coloration of the foreground and background of that character so that converts to this. But in terms of eking out frames per second or whatnot, we're not super concerned with that. Got a couple creatures here. Equip the battle axe. You can see we've got some graphical artifacts here still too, because if you toggle at our scroll, I need to take a deeper dive into that algorithm and what would be causing those artifacts for certain images. But we've got field of view. You can see this kind of circle of view that follows the player. Turn any image into ASCII? Yeah. So the algorithm will. Like I said, some images are converted better because there are some images leave artifacts or have have kind of rendering artifacts that I haven't dove too deeply into yet. I just want to get kind of everything working basically, and then I've kind of maintaining a bug list that will go back and clean things up. So this hopefully gives you a sense of what the game looks like. Each of the levels is generated randomly. We place the rooms, they have random size and they're placed randomly where they best fit. And then we draw corridors between them. And so our equipment, if we get this, I'll show you equipment. We've got this concept of slots. So there's hand slots, there's arm slots, there's a helmet you can find that has a head slot. You can only equip one piece of one item per slot. So if I go and equip the sword, the battle axe becomes unequipped, and I can go that back. We're gonna Dwarf Fortress type game. Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of ASCII art, and especially when you take like images and you ASCIIfy them. Some stuff can look really kind of cool, retro chic, if you will. So that's where we are in the game. All right, so we've got our Hall of Fame. We'll use this as kind of a guidance, what we want to write to the file. So we're going to need some functions that actually do that work. And also data structure to hold our Hall of Fame data. So maybe I will add a struct to hold that stuff. And we will call this, we'll call it a record, I guess, or we'll call it maybe an HOF record. Optimize to extreme levels, simulate the entire world at once. Well, that's what they're trying to do with Dwarf Fortress, and some of the stuff that they've simulated is pretty amazing. I think now if you run it on like a full generate, if it generates the world for like over thousands of years, it actually takes several minutes. It's kind of neat. All right, so we've got what have we got? I've forgotten already. Level, gems, and date. And everything is going to be a string. Well, the level and gems will actually make ints. But the date is definitely going to be a string. Yeah, when they started writing Dwarf Fortress, pretty much everybody was writing for one core, and I don't think that they've ever gone back to update that. I'm not sure. But with a solo developer, I doubt that he's gone back too much and tried to like recode it so that it's multi-core. Alright, so let's add... How many... Maybe we'll do top 10 for our... You could see the source code. Yeah, I don't know that in all the articles I've read about Dwarf Fortress, I don't think I've even seen like a snippet of code. So I don't know. I know it's C++. Yeah, I think if you don't start writing for multiple cores, it's really hard to go back and retool. It's kind of like security coding. Like if you don't build, if you're trying to write secure code and you don't do that from the get-go, like building it in after the fact is not fun, not easy, and probably won't work. Data-oriented design, yeah. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna make this a... Oh, well I will need the config. I can just store it as a HOF. I'm calling it a config. This case, it's not really a config. Thanks for the follow, Crocodoctopus. Crocodoctopus, that's a great name. I appreciate the follow. Alright, so we're going to store it in a config in memory in our config structure. Which I need to refresh my memory what config is. It's just a list, that's what I thought. It's a list of entities, each entity has a name and a key value pair, and key value pair is a key and a value. Wow. So do we want to parse that? Maybe we just hold it as a config. Because we don't really need to compare until the game is over. I don't want to keep this as a... Yeah, because I'm going to want to write it back to... Got some studying to do? Alright, thanks for dropping by. Hang out. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Do we want to... Wondering the best way to keep this and hold this around in memory. As for display purposes, we can just keep everything as strings. For the end of the game where we're determining whether something's made the Hall of Fame list, we're going to need to compare gems, maybe just gems at this point. just based it on gems. Or we could do something like gems plus level. Okay. Let's hold on to this config. So we'll read it in our game start. Do we want to? We could read it in when we need to. Displaying the Hall of Fame screen. I believe we're reading this in our game init, world state init, so item config. Just hold it for now. We could jump into this config file parse. Basically, it's looping through each line. It grabs the, it looks to see if we have a new entity, grabs the name, if so, everything, which is everything between those square brackets. And then it creates the new entity structure and loops through key value pairs. So here's where it breaks it apart on the equal sign. Everything on the left side of that is the key, everything on the right side of that is the value. And we ignore blank lines. Alright, so we init world state. We will read in the Hall of Fame, which actually we can't do it here because world state init is called when we start a new game. So let's pull that out. And we will put it in here. So we've got this screen show Hall of Fame. Let's do, we'll do if it's null, we will parse, open the file, parse it, read it into HOF config. And then when it comes to rendering the view, rendering our background, I think that's actually our whole view because we're putting under the background and then we just render the text on top of the background. So I will put a render trees. I'll pass it the console, I guess, so we need to. And that's basically, it's going to be a bunch of these console put strings. So what we want to do is loop through all Hall of Fame, and I can type tonight. Hall of Fame. Fame entries. String and right, just screen. That's essentially what we want to write. What we want to do always helps to write the pseudocode before you, or write the comments before you write the code, so then you can just kind of flesh things out. All right, so in our config, we just have a list, so it's called entities. We can close some of this stuff. I just want to see where looping through some of these other ones. I think maybe in map. And map in this case doesn't refer to the, this refers to the actual dungeon map that we're generating. Where is that stuff? Config. See, why did code open up a new tab when I did a search? That's very strange. What was that? Zenetics, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing this evening? Just gonna look at this. String token. Oh, that's right. Let's close this up. Screen Hall of Fame. Okay. So we're gonna loop through all of these. So we're gonna grab the this is going to be HOF config. We're going to grab entity, and then specifically we're going to grab the it's a bit confusing here because we've got a list element and config entity. So from the element, we're going to grab the data, which is a config entity. And then to get the value, this this is where we're going to read several of our values. So we've got, what have we got? We've got name, level, gems, and date. So we'll do char name equals config st value, and we'll give it the entity to t, and call it. We're gonna grab the name value associated with the name key. Just trying to figure out why I made a copy of the other. We've got level. And then gems, date, gems, date. All right, so we've read in, we've grabbed the strings. Now we're going to create, we're going to record, I guess we'll call it record string. Do string create. And we give it a formatted string and then the list of params. So in this case, we're going to have name, level, maybe we'll do name, date, level, gems. And we'll format the, this is pretty much the same type of formatting that you do for a printf function call. So we're gonna start off with the player name. And we'll say on, and then do the date. Date, level, S, I move this up. Well, let's see how that works. And so where does our Hall of Fame start? It starts at 30. Text is 30, and then 7 is our Y, so 7 cells down. How big is our rectangle? It looks like it's 34 high. So we could start this at like, let's figure out our Y coordinate. We'll do I32, Y, and we'll start our Y at 9, maybe 10. 10. So we're going to replace this with Y. We'll always start maybe 8, 5. Let's start 5 in. And we can see what colors. Well, let's see. What colors are we going to want our records in? We'll see. We'll see how it looks. So console put string at, and then we're going to do Y. And we have to, of course, loop, so E equals list next. So that should complete our loop. Let's see if that's going to build. Oh, yeah, I declared that it takes a console, but I never actually passed that. So let's do this. That worked better. Okay, so Hall of Fame. Nothing. Should be rendering, and then it's yellow. Alright, let's put a breakpoint in. See what's up with that. There's a couple places I want to put a breakpoint. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. I'll put a breakpoint. Put one here. And then I also want to put a breakpoint on our show. So I want to make sure that we're calling this parsing this stuff. Okay, so we hit the config file parse. Let's step over it and see what we get. So HOF config. Okay, it's got 1. So that actually is right. Looks like it parsed the config file properly. So we'll keep running. And we are in. So entity gives us our name. We've got 4 key value pairs. This looks right. Name. Joe Schmo. There it is. Level 3. 14 gems. And oh. So it generates the record string probably just perfectly, but what do we write to the console? The empty string, which is exactly what is printed to the screen. How about if we do that? That would be perhaps a bit better. Let's undo these breakpoints. Let her rip. Alrighty, so we've got our string here. It's not, where we want it to be necessarily, but it's where we told it to be. So let's fix that. Let's move it over to like, where did we put fame? 30. So, did like 14 or something? I honestly don't know. Where did we draw our background? Oh, the background maybe starts at 15, so let's do 18. That looks pretty good. Level 3, gems 14. Nice. Let's save a couple characters here. It's kind of crummy. I'm just worried that that there are certain names that are generated that might cause us to overflow. But I guess we can always make the background, the overlay, wider. I don't like. So let's just get rid of all the hyphens. That'll be fine. And let's render it in nearly white. Let's do it's pretty good. If we want to get super fancy, we can change the way we're building our string, and we can have like the level color be different. But for now, this is fine. It's working. All right, so that's just reading our sample Hall of Fame file and showing it on the Hall of Fame screen. So that's working. The kind of loading and display is working. The next step is, we have 2 of these open. The next step is to actually generate and write that config file at the end of the game. So, forget what we have. Is there like an end game, game over? It's been a while since I... Death? Health check death, so if the player dies, screen show end game. I guess we could handle it there. We could, or we could handle it before we move to the end game screen. Kind of like as a calculate final score type thing. Either way, we're going to come back to this. Death. You have died, string distract. We want to do some, like processing when the game is over. So we have game init, I believe. Right? We have it. Oh, there's like new game. Game new. Maybe if we had a game end. Just like Alt left arrow. Just forget that. Alt left arrow. There. Just do game end. Game over. Game update. So we'll do load existing Hall of Fame data. If not, then we'll need to look, determine if current game is the Hall of Fame, and then if so, we'll do some processing. So I'm going to just use the same exact code here to load the existing Hall of Fame data if necessary. So if the config is currently null, it means it hasn't been loaded yet, so we'll load it up by parsing the name config file. So the next part's a bit trickier with trying to determine if the current game makes the Hall of Fame, and what position in the list it makes. And I guess we could do this in one pass if we loop through. So if we loop through all the entries in the Hall of Fame, we're looking for one where the game has a higher score. The current game has a higher score than the entry, and if so, we will insert it before that item. And then we can check the list size, and if the list size is greater than 10, then we'll just chop off the last entry in the list. What do we got? I think it's entities. Yep, I'm just gonna, in the interest of time, to Borrow this same loop. It's the same, since it's the same loop we need. However, the only thing we need to look at right now is gems. And what we're going to want to do is to convert that. So I32 gem count is going to be to this is all unnecessary. So now if do if current game score is greater tree score the list. And I forget what our variable is for got a gems found total, right? Is that what we're gems found total, I believe, is what we're using. Confirm that's what we're using to display the in-game on the stats screen. Gems found total, yes. Bingo. I guess if it's greater than or equal, we'll because we'll favor newer scores, I guess, over old scores. Make newer players feel good about themselves and make them want to play again, right? So what we're going to want to do is create a new config entity and load it up with this game's data. And then we're going to insert that to E4. Insert new entity. For this one, I guess. So do G So we got, and we'll convert that to. Why do I keep typing enter re? What is that? Name equals our player name, but we're gonna want to make a copy. I'm gonna make a copy of that string. We're gonna want to copy a lot of these strings, so. I guess maybe I could do this. String. Because that'll handle the string allocation. So we'll do that. And we're just going to make name. That'll do the string allocation for us. It's like the first day on this keyboard. Level equals, we'll do int. So I think we have like a current level. Look at that, current level. Now what is? Oh yeah, current level number. Gems equals string create. This will be again that. Gems bound total. And the last one is going to be our date. So this one's going to be a little bit. I have to look this one up. Date, string, create, and I don't remember how we do date formats. So let me look. String. I think there it is. String f time. Is that what I want? Stir f time. Do I pull in time? T, time damage? I don't think I do. Sure, standard IO, yes. Standard vote. This looks like I need to pull in time. So that I can get the time structure. let's see this. Okay, so let's do include time age. See if this works. And then in our game over, we gotta get the date. So we need a time t structure. Let's call it that. And we'll make it equal to local time. No. We'll just do that. I think. So we do, okay, so do this raw time, and then do call the time function and enter to your raw time stuff. So that should put stuff into raw time, and then you do struct time tm. I'll call it date stamp. Today equals local time, and then you give it again the reference to raw time. So that should store. It should basically convert this raw time into a struct tm, which has a bunch of different date fields. So that I should be able to use in my string create. I should be able to pull some of those. So all we want are month, day, and year. So I want to access the month. Okay, so there's 0 indexed, which is okay. They're all ints though, so we're gonna do this. That, and here. The number is the number of years since 1900. Okay. And we're gonna do, so to be tm dot tm underscore +1, because it's a 0 based, and then tm day, is it day? Weekday, year day, M day, but that's 1 to 31. That's consistent. And then year, tm.year. And that's since 1900, so I gotta do plus 1900. And that will theoretically give us our date as a string. How's everyone doing out there tonight? Chat's a little quiet. Anyone still with me? Or am I just background noise? Which is perfectly okay. That's what I do sometimes when I'm coding. Just helps to hear the sounds of coding while you're coding. Okay, so we've built our config entity and populated it. So the last bit is to insert that entity before the one we just examined. Paired. So this is a bit tricky because so we've got a doubly linked list. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to say new entity. Breathe, I think. Yeah, it's telling me breathe. Equals our entity. So that we're setting the previous element to E. It's not entity prev, it's E. I need to create a new list element and put the entity in it, and then do the rewiring. That's what it is. So new containing insert. So we need a list element. New element. Okay, and so it's this new element. It gets set to the current elements leave. And we're going to do new element. Next is set to E. But also we need to do new we need to assign the data to our new element, and that is our new entity. Just want to verify. It's been a while since I did a bunch of list manipulation. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Where do I insert into our list? and then oh. I've got a list insert. Do I have a list insert before? List new, list insert after, list item. So let's remove. Nope, I guess it's just insert after. Okay, we can work with that. So we've got our list element here, and what we do is we're going to set the new data. We're not going to set the previous. Element contains a pointer to data, so it's by data should be right. The life of the element, yeah, we malloced it, so that should be fine. And then new element. Okay, so it actually will just do the insert. I don't need to worry about doing any sorts of intermediation. So I can do, I set the data, and then I can do list insert after, give it the list, which in this case is HOF config entities. Give it my new element. Oh. Oh. I don't need this at all. How convenient. Boy, these list functions that I wrote so long ago are so useful. I wish I remembered them. So list insert after, all we got to do is then give the item we're inserting after. So in this case, we want e list prev e, which is the current list element that we're examining, and then the data that I want to stuff in there is my new entity. And I definitely want to put a breakpoint on that, on all this stuff. So when we do our insert, we're going to want to break out of our loop. And then the last thing I want to do is check if it contains more than 10 trees. So the list. So if just Does that take a list? Yep. So this is HOF config. Greater than 10. We're going to want to chop that last entry off the list. So and then the last step so if it contains more than 10 entries, we're going to chop off that last item. So what functions do we have? That. List insert after, list item at. I guess I can do list item at. And give it the index of 10. And then, hey Goodster, how's it going? Have I tested out the game at all? Yeah. I usually run it several times per stream. I usually do it to start the stream, and I'm just about to jump in and test it. Give it a test run again once I'm done with this little chunk of coding. So I can just do list. And list item add and list remove. Just hand that to list remove, so that'll work. List element. List at. Give it our list, HOF. And in this case, our list index is going to be 10 because it'll be the 11th item in the list. So if we're just going to remove it, so we'll do list. The item that we just, and that should update our list. Tried coding in school, but the teacher was awful and you learned nothing. You learned, like to try it though, but not sure. But well, if you've got a bad teacher, yeah, it's tough to learn. But I wouldn't let a bad teacher discourage you from learning something that you're interested in. So there are a ton of online courses now that you can take also to kind of just get your feet wet a bit and decide if it's really something that you're interested in. So I would suggest checking out like some free online resources and see if it's something that you're into. And if so, I say go for it. It's a lot of fun. Alright, so if we updated the... I'm gonna just put a bool in here too. Updated equals false. And then if we get to this point, we have updated the Hall of Fame, so we'll need to persist it. And so now if HOF, man, keep fat fingering this stuff. This keyboard is not. Updated. Then we're gonna persist to disk, but I'm gonna write it to do because I'm not gonna do that right now. That'll be next stream because it's getting late. Yeah, but I do want to test this stuff, so let's see if it'll build. Got the breakpoint here. There's oh poo. That's right, it's not. Alright, so first of all, I need a forward declare for my game over routine. It's easy enough. Where are all my forward declares? But these other things, yeah, I miss. How did I learn? So I kind of, when I was when I was like a teenager in high school, I kind of self-taught from books and from like coding magazines and that sort of thing, and just kind of. I used to have like an old Apple II computer where you could basically just boot the machine to a prompt that would allow you to type basic the basic programming language. Just type simple programs just right into the computer and run them. So that was kind of the start. But then, learned from just messing around in books and magazines, and then ended up taking like AP Computer Science in high school, and then went to college for computer science. So, but I mean, I'm still learning every single day, which is one of the things that I like about this field. You never stop learning, and so just from a variety of sources. I've got a bookshelf here of books, constantly reading stuff online, articles, looking at now with places like GitHub and all these source code repositories that are publicly available with the open source code. You can just like read through other people's code and learn from that as well. If you're interested, there's the code for this game is available on the GitHub repo that's listed right above. So feel free to pull that code and mess around with it. Alright, so it seems like perhaps I am oh, now theoretically I can jump to this now, can I? Control click to follow the link. Undeclared identifier. TM. That's discouraging. Did I miss? Is that part of some other library? Struct TM. Yeah, and if you don't, I mean, say just to get your feet wet, like if you don't want to, like, try writing some JavaScript, because the barrier to entry there is you pretty much just need like a text editor and a web browser that you can load your page into, and you know the JavaScript executes within the browser, so that's pretty low barrier to entry. Sorry, I'm just looking at see. Struct TM. It says standard IO and time H. Let's see, struct TM. It should be part of time.h. Well, let's look at these other problems. So the config entity, I'm trying to set this name. It's not how it's done here. So I need to set both the name and the. I'm probably going to need to expand it and do a set config entity value. Yeah. So I think I might call it how long have I been working on this game? This is, I think, the 44th stream that I've been live streaming for this particular game project. So this is stream number 44. And each stream is usually like an hour to 2 hours long. So at this point, you know, live streaming time in is, you know, probably 90 hours. And 90 hours tops, and then I've done some work off stream a bit, but maybe that's like another 20 hours. So, you know, between somewhere roughly speaking between like 120 to 150 hours, maybe. I don't know. That rough, real wide ballpark guesstimate. But I kind of do it in dribs and drabs, so like I spend a lot of time trying to remember what I've done in the past. It would go a lot faster if I was working like 8-hour days on it, you know, because I could maintain focus that way. But it looks like I'm going to need to write a, let's see, void. So it's going to be config entity get value, set value. And it'll be config entity. I'm just gonna rough this out right now, just the function call, but this is gonna be char key, and we're gonna write a string value as well, and so that'll put to do add a new key value pair to the entity. Still can't type entity. And so then this code will become And we need, okay, so first we need new entity. This one actually does have a name. God, I'm ridiculous with the typing right now. I'm just gonna do this so I don't have to allocate anything. And I'm gonna do this, we're gonna call it, what do we call it? Record, right? So the entity name is record. Then we're gonna set the entity, and then the key is going to be named name, and the value is going to be this. So maybe this would just be player name. Do the allocation and stuff in the set value. So we've got this, we've got level. However, in this case, we would do a string create because we are creating a string to store. So that'll go there. Similarly for this, we'll do gems. Does my job involve coding? Yes, I am a full-time programmer. But my day job, I code in Swift and Objective-C because I write iPhone apps. iPhone and iPad apps. Alright. This should eliminate some of those compiler errors. Yeah, so now we're just left with the must point to struct. Is that not? It is fun. It's a fun job. Yeah. It's interesting. All right. I can feel my brain becoming tired, so I think I'm going to call it a night. But we will revisit this the next stream. We will flesh out this config entity set value, and I'm going to figure out off stream. I'm going to figure out why this is not recognizing this struct TM. I'm not sure. I'm going to read the documentation a little bit more thoroughly instead of trying to rush through it on stream. So I am going to call it a night. Let me, for those of you that have been kind of hanging out, I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna show you what the game looks like. I'm just gonna comment out this code for the moment. So that you can get a taste of what the game looks like. So here it is. Here's our launch screen. Like I said, it's a classic ASCII roguelike. Start a new game, and we're in. Oh, there's bats. We're gonna die like right away. Bats are nasty. See, they can swing, basically move twice for every one time the player moves. But before I die, you can see here's our current stats. We randomly generated a name. Burilon Warghexer. And this is our current stats. We are on level 1. We have no gems that we found yet. And then this is kind of our player log. And then up here, that whole top section is the map, which we've generated I need a shield. Oh, I didn't even get to the shield before I died. So here's our end game screen. Hero Hall of Fame coming soon. That's what we are currently working on. But you can see the hero stats at the end of the game is level 1, gem 0. Let's start a new game because finding 2 bats right off the bat was kind of nasty. Here's a gem. That's kind of how we keep score. There are 5 gems per level, so it kind of encourages the player to explore the level even if they spawn near the stairs. Gives them that incentive to explore a bit more of each level. I'm going to equip the shield before we get too close to these beasties. Here's a sword, so I'm going to grab that one too and equip that. See, we've got the equipment screen here. It's got how much you can carry, maximum. We're carrying 7. Our max weight is 20. You can move up and down to select items. You can unequip them. You can drop them. And then equipment is assigned a specific slot, and you can only have 1 equipped item per slot. So now that we have a sword and a shield, we're a little bit better prepared for our beasts. You still need to balance the game, I keep saying, because once the player gets some equipment, they are way overpowered when compared to the monsters. Grab a helmet here, throw that on, and now he's like practically invulnerable. So I'm just gonna grab a couple more gems and we'll find those stairs. I got a battle axe. So the battle axe actually does more damage than a sword, so I'm going to toggle it. And you can see that the sword has become unequipped because both of these are slotted for the hand. The battle axes, it does more damage. I want to put that kind of information on the screen so that the player can make an informed decision. Do that eventually. Now we're just looking for the stairs. It's bat. Yeah, you can't touch me, bat. Oh, where are the stairs? Let's be hiding over here. Uh-oh, did we not have stairs on this level? That could be an issue. Did I miss a passageway? Seems like there is an issue. Oh, there they are. Were they under my cursor? Is that why I didn't see them? Sweet. Anyway, so here they are. We found the stairs. We're going to descend, and then it sends you to level 2. You can see this. Things are updated. I have noticed that we do have a problem with our level because it did change our player name. That's definitely a problem. So I think when we switch the levels, I may actually be initializing too much world state again. I should just be initializing the level, and it seems like I'm initializing the player, or parts of the player as well. So we'll address that. We'll fix it. But I think that gives you a sense of what the game looks like. So I'm gonna maybe I should leave that commented out for now, and then we can fix it. I don't want to check it into Git when it's not in a buildable state. So maybe I'll just leave it like that, and we'll get back to that next stream. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. We had a productive stream tonight, and so if you're interested in some of our previous streams, I've archived everything on YouTube, so you can go over there, follow that link on your screen. I think it's also down below in the info section below. we've got all the previous episodes archived. I made a playlist so you can watch them in order if you want. But I'd really appreciate a subscribe there if you're liking the content. On Twitter, you can find me at PDCodes, and hit me up with any questions or comments. And like I said before, all the source code is available on GitHub at the link to the right of me. And be sure to hit that follow button if you haven't already so that you get notified the next time I go live with streaming. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will catch you next stream. Good night.